Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Hedera's price chart and see what is happening specifically in the short term, because unfortunately, I am now not necessarily seeing some optimistic signs. But before we get into all that, let me tell you, overall and in the midterm, we are looking fantastic. Why? Because you see, I think back in this bull run in, I think 2021, we formed a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into a 1 correction for 2, and at the moment we might be on our way to have a very strong move on the upside into wave 3 and 4 and 5, which I do think this phase only into our wave 3 is actually going to happen in this cycle, and odds are this is going to be your next bear market, and this can be the next bull run, which might happen, I don't know, let's say like in 2029 or maybe even 2030. Not sure about that, do not care about that. What really matters is what is going on in this area, which again, like we said it earlier, we are looking great. Why? Because when you zoom in a bit more, you realize that in here, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 1 correction for 2, and this can be yet another 1 and a 2, this time on a lower degree relative to this orange 1 and 2. And the idea is that soon in Hedera, we are going to have a massive move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So long term looking great, midterm also looking fantastic. In the short term, well, okay, that can be a bit of a different story, because if you remember the last time that we talked about Hedera, I think we were right in here, and the idea was that if we want to say this is the low of our correction, then okay, our move up after having a move on the downside, a slow and choppy move, has to accelerate quite a bit, because in this phase we're going to be on our way up to complete the subwaves for what? Yes, you know what? A massive wave 3. And since in terms of Elliott's waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong move on the upside, again, we came up to the conclusion that suggested this move has to accelerate quite a bit. We at the same time said what we do not want to see is a strong move down in Hedera in order to take this important low, because that is going to unfortunately confirm that what we have in here, it's just a correction structure, and by no means this is going to be an impulsive movement at that point, indicating our move down in Hedera is going to continue, and in it we may unfortunately take the lowest low down here about, as you can see, 22.5 cents. Now, at the moment, as you can see, we haven't taken the lows yet, but I do think that we might be on track to taking it. Why? You see, we can have different counts in Hedera in here. One scenario suggests that starting from this point, we are having an A, B, C on the downside, and since it is now confirmed that this is a correction structure up, maybe like an ABC flat or maybe a WXY, doesn't really matter, then okay, this may narrow your option to having a WXY structure on a higher degree. And if you want to go according to this count for your wave Y, you're gonna have most likely an ABC zigzag, which looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into a correction for wave B, maybe ABC, maybe WXY, maybe even a triangle, doesn't really matter, and another 5 down into C. Let's go in here and see what is going on and count some waves. So if you want to start counting waves from this point, then okay, you can say we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. I'm gonna say probably to about the lows down here, followed by that most likely, yes, this is an ABC on the upside. And what is happening at the moment, in my view, there is a chance that in HBAR, this is a wave 1, correction for 2, and then what's next? A strong move down into wave 3 for 5, which on a higher degree might be into a wave 3, correction for 4, another move down into wave 5. So this move in Hedera, it is safe to say that if you want to go according to this scenario, is going to accelerate and also continue, and in it, we are absolutely going to take the lows down here about 22.5 cents. So on a higher degree, sure, I do believe that we are having a correction structure and this is going to be an ABC zigzag. I just have a hard time believing that right now we are at the end of our correction structure on the downside. I think that might be a bit of a dangerous assumption, because you might actually get disappointed quite soon in Hedera. Can we have other possibilities? The answer is yes. Let's just zoom out a bit more. Okay. You can have another count suggesting maybe this point right in here is the end of your wave 5. And in that case, well, okay, you can have, I think a WXY in form of a double zigzag, and this is your first ABC down, followed by that a correction structure on the upside. And well, okay, what are we going to have into our wave Y? You know the answer. Once more, another ABC zigzag. And well, I don't really believe that even in that case, the subwaves are going to necessarily change. No, most likely we are going to have the same situation, meaning this is A, this is B. And right now we are on our way to complete a 5-wave into our C leg. So as you can see, most cases in Hedera suggest that we are probably going to continue our move on the downside. Now, here's the situation. I'm not really sure if you like classic patterns, but if you do, I think at the moment a lot of people on Twitter are saying, look, in Hedera, essentially in H1 timeframe, we are having a rather beautiful head and shoulder structure. And two very important points. Number one, it's very important to understand that this pattern at the moment at least is not confirmed yet. When will it get confirmed? When we get a break of our neckline right in here, and by that I mean we go under the region followed by a pullback, and then we get a continuation of the move down in order to take this low down here. If we do this, fair enough, maybe this head and shoulder is going to work. And by the way, what's going to be the target for it? You need to, first things first, put your chart on regular scale. I'm going to keep saying this in every single video. And then you need to measure the height of your pattern and put it at your supposedly breaking point. Okay, this is giving you like a 15 cents HBAR. But here's the situation. I do actually believe that in the short term, there's a very high chance that we are going to go under the neckline. I just have a hard time believing that in Hedera we are going to witness like a 40 to even 50% move on the downside in order to reach to about the 13 to 15 cents region. So what you may end up having is something like this, a move down in order to, for a lot of people that like classic patterns, confirm the head and shoulder structure. But on the other hand, you may not necessarily reach to the target, and somewhere in the middle, we may get a very strong bounce back and invalidate that pattern, which will probably, I'm going to guess, hit a lot of stop losses, and it's going to really make most traders angry. But that is how the market usually works. It has a habit of destroying those people who are way too confident about the price going up or down. And maybe even at the end, it is going to do what they expect. But before that, it is going to be extremely volatile to a degree that is most likely going to hit their stop losses. And then when they have no money left, it may or may not do what they already expected. So overall in Hedera, here's the conclusion. I think our move down is going to continue a bit more. Question is, what can be a likely target for it? Well, if you want to go according to classic patterns, maybe to somewhere around the 15 cents region. However, I do have a hard time believing that. I think right now we should probably count on like a 10 to 15% move down in order to reach to about 19 to 20 cents. And then when we get there, we will make new updates and see what is happening, and can we expect a very strong bounce in order to start the next major phase of the bull run. Like, do not get me wrong. Sure, in the short term, we are looking a bit bearish, but overall, you want to remember once more, what do we have off of the lowest low? Beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 1 correction for wave 2. And after our wave 2 in the short term is over, what's next? You know the answer. Very strong move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So, you know, let's not miss forest for the trees. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Hedera. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.